All right, everyone. Welcome back. And I am going to do again today what I did last time. I have selected randomly 3 stones from each of the 3 parcels of my first purchase from Riley Gunn. And these are all basically beginner chips. And these parcels were obscenely cheap when I bought them. The most I paid for one was $12. So I've looked at these chips, and most of them will very likely remain freeform. Some of them will require cutting. I'm not sure about this one. I do like that it's got a tiny hint of color there, but the surface is pretty complex, very wonky. This one here, because of this dip, I will probably have to cut off part of that, unless I want to go total freeform, but this elevated surface here might lend itself to a pretty nice marquee style cut. This one is sandy, very dirty. There's some green and yellow. That big sand pit is ruining it all. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with this one yet. I may just try to rescue the colorful part for a doublet. Gotta start practicing the doublets. This has some interesting potch lines in it with a little bit of color. Oh, there we go. But on the back, there's a better look at it. There's some red in there too with that green. This one will probably be a freeform. I may just shape the edges up and try to polish this back to get more of that color. And this one here has beautiful red bars on this lower part. So what we're going to do is cut the top off and go down from there. Hopefully I will have a very nice, small, but very red opal. This one has some nice potch lines in it. Doesn't really have too much color that I can tell. Again, a freeform, a curiosity. This one has little bits of color in it. That shape is also a problem though, so probably slice this part off and see if I can rescue the rest into a stone. This one here, it's kind of a long shape as well. Probably cut that tip off, work the rest of it. It's fairly translucent, but no color is apparent. And for lucky number 9, there is color in it. Not sure how I want to go about this. Got some red in there too. Likely I'll just get all that sand off the top, expose it, and smooth up the rest and make a nicely shaped freeform out of that. Let's weigh them all together. I'm not going to go through all the weighing up separately, measuring them separately. This is just more practice. And together, what's 18.70 carats. So for 9 stones, we have about 2 carats per on average. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. And stick around because we're going to go ahead and review all these after the fact. So let's go ahead and get started on these, and I'll meet you on the other side.
Here are a few shots of the stones in the rough. I also have some video segments of a couple of these stones that should turn out to be pretty good when they're finally cut.
Well, there's the first one. Woo! That one kind of came apart on me. Whoops. Well, that's not good. And finally, the good one. Right, that'll be easy to turn into a little bit. We'll probably have to bring down that top a lot. I'll bring in some. Anyway, that's down the next stone. Alright, we're gonna have to do 3. This is my identical heat. Anyway, I think it's easier sitting down with that anyway. So, we'll probably go ahead and put that. Alrighty, well those cut ones are ready for the dot sticks. And I don't know what to do with this one here. This one's gonna be fun. All these little pits are gonna make it a bugger. So we get to prep up the polishing station. A little cerium oxide, a little bit of water. Some of these I've already fully polished, like pretty close to fully polished. But there's still a few areas that could use a little bit more extra care.
All right, everybody, that was the finished stones, and as you can see, they all look pretty nice. Now, they're not perfect by any means, and the focus certainly wasn't perfect. But I think they all turned out pretty well. Not all of them have color, but they're all interesting. So let's dump these out, and we'll bring up the first two will be one of the stones that I cut. The one I said was going to be a marquee shape. Well, you can see this one's actually upside down. Whoops. A little dirty still with the cerium. I would take more time to work with those. But they're not going to be sold, so no reason to clean them up. As you can see, the marquee one actually has a little bit of this weird little bump. So that's bad and ugly at the same time. As far as good though, I did get a decent shape out of it. It's pretty close. This had an awful boing, and I didn't get it exactly flat. I'm not sure how much that actually would impact setting it. But other than all of the ugly oil from my skin. It looks pretty good. And then this piece, I really could have spent more time on this edge. And the bottom's okay. It's a weird looking shape. Its polish is not fantastic. You can still see the cutting marks and the undulations. Here is another piece that I cut, and this was the smaller, translucent, really wonky shape. So this one turned out okay as an oval. Probably could have gone a little bit smoother on that bottom if I was worried about setting it. But these are just for shaping. Here's the one that had the color, the little bit of green and blue. And I think, honestly, I screwed this one up. I went to try to get an oval shape out of it. You can see there's still some cerium laden pits. Stop dropping. This white thing, though, is an inclusion, I believe. I forget. Looks to me like it's under the surface. Anyway, I went to clean up this side, and there's still a lot of nice color. Some disappeared, of course, because there was a heavy pock mark of sand. You can see the remnants right in there. So this one turned out more like a bean than any kind of oval shape. I do like the flash of color. I probably should have just worked on a much narrower stone and faced it somewhere in this area. Lessons learned. Now this one's kind of cool. You still have all these potch lines that are healed. Former cracks. Although this one here, you see that line. I'm not sure about that one being healed. And it's also got this line of reddish potch material, which I left because I think it looks cool. Nice polish, good rounded edges. This side, of course, that's kind of ugly. That is kind of ugly indeed. Again, if it had more color, I would have taken more time to smooth that out and to make it good looking. Now the next two stones, these were cut, and the smaller end, other than that nasty inclusion that's still left in there, turned out pretty good. It's a decent triangular shape. I think I have a reasonable setting edge. Of course, that nice little pit. I could have probably worked that out, but that would make the stone pretty thin. And my favorite part about this is there is some color, but it's mostly this very faint pinkish hue. Anyway, that was the small stone. Now on the big stone, use the tweezers for this. This one actually has some nice color in it. The big issue I have with this one, let's get further down. This one actually works better with the white background, believe it or not. So as you can see here, this little babe has some nice color in it. A little bit of green and yellow. It's a blue. Maybe a little bit of orange too, looks like. Unfortunately, that big pit right there. You can see this with your eye. It is kind of ugly, but you know, the stone isn't super bright. So I'm not worried about it too spectacularly much. Yeah, setting edges look okay. The shape, it's pretty ovalish. There is that little bit on the bottom there that I could have smoothed out more still. But again, is it really worth doing that? Unless you have a really nice looking stone. I think perfection wise, I want to be a perfectionist. This is the, how much time are you willing to spend for the return? This stone is fairly good on its shape. I'm happy with it. Dome-wise, shape-wise. I'm glad there was some color hiding in there that actually turned out. Let's get its sister stone back up in here. Take a family photo. Yeah, anyway, it's time to move on to the next lovely stone, and I think we will go with this one right here. Now, whoa, hey. These things are so slippery. All right, now here, this one. I likely could have gone deeper in this one, but I like that crisscross pattern of the dark lines that you can see on the right edge. Cutting marks still. I should have worked a little harder to get those out, but oh well. It's got some nice color in it. Nice, just flash. It's dim, okay? This isn't optimal for color. It's a slippery little devil. Now this one on the back, when I finally get it for you. You know what? We're just gonna hold it, even though that's just as difficult. I really hate trying to hold these slippery little stones, but it is what it is. Now, I love the bars on this, but they're awfully thin. And I just didn't really want to alter the appearance of this. Because look at the back. Now, a little rough surface of cutting marks there. But where that chippy crack was, I fixed that pretty good. This one has some cool colors as well. And perhaps I could have gotten more of it to come out. but I like the pattern on the back. I like to call this one a whale tail stone because on the left here, these two patterns remind me of the flukes of a whale's tail. And I'm not talking about Nemo. Leave poor Nemo out of this. Alright, so lots of little pinfire in there. I like that one. I like that one a lot. And the largest of the lot was this one. And again, this is another one that I left freeform and just tried to take off material to get to the color. You can see a couple of pits in there. Not ideal. That's a nice color. And then on this side, kind of see this weird inclusion that forms an arcing line. There are tiny bits of color in this stone, and I have the feeling that if I took it down further, I might have been able to get more color to come out. But honestly, I just left it because I'm happy with the way it looks right now. Absolutely happy. Be happier if I could actually hold on to these things, but, you know. Lots of cutting marks, uneven areas. I really should have worked harder on that spot, because that to me is bad and ugly. And lots of little pits, which are less of an issue. You can see there's tiny bits of color showing up on this side. But that one turned out quite well. I was happy with it. And now finally, last and certainly not least, the multicolor bar, Opal. Now this one, this side, it has a great red flash and it's really hard to get to. Let's see if I can work that out. Okay. Nice green and blue and yellow. And this red one, to the naked eye, it looks so much better. So this red one, you see how those two lines of red come up and either side to meet in the middle? I really like that flash. So yeah, this red flash is pretty awesome in real life. And the bars, unfortunately, don't show up as good to your naked eye, but you don't have the benefit of magnification to see them. Just look at all those thin little bars everywhere. It's actually pretty cool, I think. Anyway, let's flip it on over. So here's the primary side. And as you can see, lots of nice pinfire. Maybe kind of a floral in pinfire. Reds, yellows, greens, blues, oranges. And of course, the bars. The bars. So that's basically it for these stones this time. What do you think? And while we're taking a last look at some of these stones, I would like to remind everyone, the reason I started this channel was because I was motivated by people like Justin over at Black Opal Direct. And watching him, I decided that I could cut opals as well. So I gave it a shot. And I just want to show people that it isn't that difficult to get into cutting opals. You want to start with the lower value stuff, of course, when you're learning. But you don't need a lot of equipment. I just use a Dremel. And honestly, I just want to show everyone that if I can cut opal, you can also cut opal. And now their journey is complete. Thanks for watching. Until next time.